Drop it on the random.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of That Time in Hip Hop, a podcast about the history, the nostalgia, but more importantly, the preservation of hip hop music and culture. I am your host, Vegas of Hip Hop Now Podcast. With me, as always, Tony of EnterTheDome.com. What's good, man?
Hey man, everything's good, man. Drinking some nice dark stout that my homeboy made in his home brewery, and I am the test dummy, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man, I'm just a dummy, man. Ain't nothing but like vodka and I think something healthy to mix it with. It doesn't have a lot of sugar, so you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But for those listening or watching, the show is not about alcohol. This show is about the preservation of hip hop history, events, albums, artists, moments, whatever you might think we could talk about, because there's a million things we could talk about in hip hop. For instance, we have probably like 36 or 37 episodes. The last show we did was about 90s soundtracks, mostly predominantly hip-hop soundtracks, and how that era of movie soundtracks was just as good as the music and where it is today. So you might want to check that out in video form right here on YouTube on the B-Roll Network. You can hit subscribe and you'll always get it. Or if you can't watch the video, but you can listen to a podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just search for Hip Hop Now Podcast. And not only will you get access to a weekly news podcast, but you also get a trip down memory lane that me and Tone do as much as we can, because it's dope and we love hip hop. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So subscribe, show some love. But what we like to do at this point is the beginning of the show is tell you about what happened this week in hip hop. And this week in hip hop, the year was 1997, June 3rd. Wu-Tang Clan released their sophomore album, Wu-Tang Forever, a double CD. Their debut was released in 1993. We had a ton of solo records from solo albums from different artists out of the crew, a couple of classics. And 1997 rolls around, the summer of 1997 rolls around. Tone, you had finally a Wu-Tang album, and it's a double CD. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like you said, we had been anticipating that follow-up from 36 Chambers, and you know, RZA did a great job of putting out the solo joints leading up to Forever. When you think about the Iron Man from Ghost and Cuban Links and Return to 36 Chambers, to Cal, it was great. Liquid Sword. So the anticipation was high, man. I remember the night it dropped, we all went to the midnight sale at this joint called Willie's down here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I went to UNCG at the time. I was a senior. And we was excited getting there because obviously we had seen Triumph, the video, and you know, was all still going crazy off Inspector Deck Burst, and not just Deck Burst, but everyone got busy on the song. But the anticipation was sky high, man. I remember going to midnight sale, man, and when we drove up, everyone had it in their cars already, man, bumping it. Just, you know, Bales of War on this side, it's yours out of that car, Better Tomorrow out of that car. I was like, damn, I can't wait to get my copy of this joint. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I put it in. I remember hearing, just skimming through here and Reunited, and you know, I remember hearing RZA on the disc too, man, talking about the state of hip hop and all that joint, man. And it was everything I thought it was gonna be, man. I'm not gonna lie. Till this day, I said that the MCs on Forever were better than 36 Chambers because they had grown as MCs. They had all had solo work or been featured on each other's albums. So I'm not saying it's better than 36 Chambers. We can debate that another day. What I'm saying is every MC was more polished by the time Forever came out, man. I thought the beats was dope by RZA and not just RZA, but of course, you know, Fourth Disciple and you know, even Deck did a couple of songs on that, and just some of the other in-house producers from Wu-Tang, man. I thought it was an amazing album, man. You know what I'm saying? I thought, you know, it was what I expected. I still call it a classic to this day. I was just listening to it the other day. Just so many landmark tracks on that on the album, man. Like I'm perfectly satisfied with Forever, dude. What's your thoughts on it?
And I didn't know what to expect because there had been so much time that had passed. I mean, we had Cuban Links by then and Liquid Swords, and you know what I'm saying, all these solo albums, and the Wu was different. I almost forgot about them as a group, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because of the solo records. So once they came back together and it was a double CD, I would have preferred if they just consolidated it, because I don't think there's a lot of whack songs in there at all. I just think it may be too many, you know what I'm saying, because I kind of focus on my favorites when I listen to it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of anticipate them, and then the other ones is like, okay, you know, this is Black Shampoo, blah blah blah. But like MGM Grand, Older Gods, Triumph, of course. Some of those records, those beats, those verses are just, like Tone said, are some of the best. And one thing I like that you pointed out, that I don't know if it still happens, maybe it happens for younger cats because they're more impressionable than us at this stage of their life, but I do remember those days in general when you knew the album of the moment was coming out, and you can hear people bumping it in their car, and you thirsty, like, damn, sound crazy. I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah,
because we can think about a ton of albums, especially summer albums, where, you know, if it was like that was the album. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen that much because so many people come out. You know, you don't know what you're gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? You're usually not gonna hear just one person all the time. So it's whatever. But one thing I think I wanted to point out in regards to this, and pose this question to you, Tone, about this album, or the results of this album. Recently, You God said, and RZA kind of alluded to it also, but You God said that was the last time Wu-Tang Forever album, the last time RZA basically had dope beats. Do you agree with that?
Woo! Well, you know what? In terms of a full project, full body of work, You God might have a point, because if we think about after Forever, how many fully produced projects did RZA really do? I mean, yeah, we had, you know, Iron Flag and the W and some of the other Wu-Tang albums. I mean, they were okay, and I think he had a lot of help with some of the production by that point. Did he make any amazing beats after Forever? You know, what's the memorable beats and production from RZA after Forever? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think unfortunately You God has a point, and I think also You God and the other guys have their own issues with the RZA. I know they love the RZA, but I mean, I think they've all had their own issues with the RZA. If you look at that documentary that Showtime did, so you know, some of that was probably some truth in that. Some of that probably still maybe some ill feelings because family fall out. They brothers, you know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, man, I don't really know anything memorable after 1997. After Triumph, what did he do that made you be like, okay, that's, you know, it's like Primo, like after, like, you know, the owners, what else did he do after the owners that made you be like, okay, he still got that same thing that he was doing back in the Mass Appeal days. So, I mean, so yeah, he got a point, man.
Yeah, 97 was like the year, especially that summer, it's like the year Bad Boy was like taking over, because you had all the hits from Life to Death, then you had Puff Daddy and the Family, all those hits, and then you had a guy we're gonna talk about also that was kind of doing things around that time. So but yeah, to that point, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like you said, as a full project, I think that probably was the last time we felt like, yo, the RZA as a producer, you know, producing a full project is still dope. It was spotty after that. But how do you feel about Wu-Tang Forever, Wu-Tang Clan's sophomore album, double album? You like it, you love it, you still listen to it? Leave your comments in the comment section below. We definitely respond. Trust me, look at past videos, we do. But enough of that. Let's get into the topic at hand. And Tone, we got a topic today about a dude who, you know, welcome back for like the 700th time, but we're going to talk about the time when he left the game. And I don't think people talk about that as much as we're about to. So Tone, do the honors, man.
Well, today, man, we're gonna talk about Mace, but specifically talk about Mace that time when he decided to say, you know what, I'm not gonna rap anymore. And I remember it was around April 1999, and Mace was on the radio talking to Funk Flex, and you just thinking, okay, maybe gonna promote some more music and talking about some more ventures coming out, and he already had this amazing solo career at that point, and he had this Harlem War thing going with his own clique, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he gonna let us know what's coming up, and he just went way left field and said, hey man, the Lord has calling on my life, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, I'm gonna leave hip hop, and I think that I've contributed to a lot of bad visuals and stereotypes of hip hop and my people, and I've been leading my people down the wrong path. And the whole interview went somewhere else, and even for Funk Flex was, he was kind of startled, like, how do I even conduct this interview now? Like, what do I ask? You know what I'm saying? Because it really came out of nowhere. And we're talking about a guy, just for some perspective, people, because I know you think of Mace now and you don't really understand his impact. So we're going to talk about some of that today. But just for example, from 1996 to 1999, when he said, I'm going to walk away, he had been on 6 top 10 hits in hip hop as the lead MC or the guest featured MC. Now understand that we'll talk about the name of those songs at some point in this show today as well. You're like, damn, Mace was on that song. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was. He was on that video. He was on that show. He was on that tour. He was at one point in 1997, people. I'm about to say this, and I hope we talk about this on some social media platforms in days to come. But at one point, Mace was the #1 MC in hip hop in 1997. By that fall, he was #1.
Yeah.
Harlem Roar sold 4 million records and had a Grammy nomination for Best Album, people. So Mace was it wasn't a game. He was a big superstar walking away from hip hop. And it reminded me vague of like when Barry Sanders decided to like walk away from football. I'm like, dude, you like led the league in rushing yards a couple years ago, and you just like, shit, I'm just gonna walk away. You know what I'm saying? It was really to that magnitude. Like Mace was a big star. People. What I'm saying is, for all the listeners, imagine Jay-Z walking away after Hard Knock Life Volume 2 and going on Funk Flex and saying, I'm leaving hip hop. That's how big it was, because the year before Hard Knock Life, Mace was 4 million sold for Harlem World. So that's just perspective right there. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of baffled, like, well, yeah, I know Double Up wasn't like Harlem World, but it was still a gold album, and you were still on the major world tours with Puff and then Bad Boy. And, why are you really leaving? Is it really your calling with God? Maybe so. I don't want to judge a person saying that that's not true. Even though in the streets there were other rumors about things going on in Harlem. There was things about him and messing with some chick and some dudes he had beef with. Then there was other rumors about just some street beef and stuff like that. So there was a lot of different things going on, and nobody really knew the truth, but stuff started circulating and even got way down here in North Carolina where I am. I was like, well, maybe Mace running from somebody, because he ended up in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? He ended up in Atlanta. He went to school. He started preaching. He got a church. You know what I'm saying? I know people who used to run into Mace in Atlanta, and they ran into him. They went to his church, and at one point, it seemed really genuine. Of course, other things started happening at some point, and people questioning some of his loyalty and some of the stuff with the church. But nevertheless, the dude walked away from hip hop, man, kind of when he was still, popping real hard. Like, what was your thoughts? And we're gonna get more details, of course. But what was your initial thought when you heard on the radio, or you heard somebody say, "Hey, man, Mace walked away from hip hop"?
I honestly couldn't believe it, to be honest, because like you said, man, he was huge at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? Commercially huge. Don't let Jay-Z fool you with all that 6 summers things, because when he says, I held you down for 6 summers, go back 6 summers, you're running into some of them Bad Boy summers, and Jay-Z there wasn't running it because Bad Boy was all over the radio, and Mace was kind of like, Big's not here. Who's the commercial draw? Because it wasn't the Lox, it wasn't Black Rob. You know what I'm saying? They were good, obviously, but Mace was kind of the one that was gonna like basically do it in the same vein as Biggie as far as mainstream. But when I heard that, I felt like you, like, why? Like, how? Like, you know, okay, he's going to the church, and I was thinking, like, where's this coming from? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I started thinking, obviously, like, yo, something must have happened, because again, what people forget is, you know, the whole East Coast West Coast thing that was fabricated by or exaggerated by the media, and, you know, Biggie dying and all the, you know, these little beefs here and there, and all these rumors you hear about this and that. You even hear rumors about who's next, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I started thinking, like, oh, well, maybe there's something going on that we don't really know about, and Mace is just out of here. We didn't know it was like something personal beef wise, but we assumed that it was just some kind of beef that was extending from what happened with Big and Tupac and the West Coast and East Coast thing. But I had heard the Funkmaster Flex joint the interview, and I remember, you know how you listening for other things, you're listening for clues, but he sounded convinced, and
yeah, he did.
I couldn't believe it. And I guess the first thing I thought was, well, how do you get out your contract like that? Like, you can get out your contract like that? And then I started to think, maybe that's why he did it. Maybe he was getting jerked and didn't like it, and figured he rather and turn to religion, you know, be able to get out of the contract, because he can get out of it unscathed, basically. Well, unless he wanted to come back in some form or fashion, then he has to come back to Bad Boy. But like Tone said, we'll get there.
Just real quick, since this is a big week for Jay-Z, and you also said something about Jay-Z just now about that holding you down for like 6 summers and whatnot. Let's remember also, Jay-Z wanted to take over hip hop by the time Volume 1 came out, which was 1997. And, you know, there's rumors that Jay-Z was talking about Mace on Imaginary Player, you know what I'm saying, throwing shots, you know what I mean? And also because during that time, Jay-Z was opening up for Puff and Mace on the No Way Out tour. A lot of people don't know that. And Jay-Z and Dame ended up getting a little frustrated with a couple of situations on tour, and they left the tour. You know what I'm saying? And started working on the Hard Knock Life. You know what I'm saying? So, and by that time, Hard Knock Life dropped. There was a track on there called Ride or Die, and he's definitely taking direct shots at Mace. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about Volume 1 and Volume 2. Jay-Z is taking shots at Mace because that was his focus at the time, taking over hip hop, and everyone else was a little cold at the time. And Nas had this moment when it was written, and he had this moment when he was running shit in '96, but then that had died off, and Pocket died, and Big died, and again, like I said, there was a small moment in time where Mace was the #1 artist on all of these songs. I mean, his album $4 Million, he got the Feel So Good song, and he on More Money, No More Problems, and Only You at 112, and you know, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. I mean, he all in the clubs. Then they all in the streets with 24 Hours to Live with the Lox and Black Rob and everybody. So Mace was popping. You know, and Jay-Z had to knock him off with the little thing he was on.
Yeah, and let's not leave out this, because this is what kind of sparked Jay-Z on Imaginary Players and the other track because Mace was taking subliminal shots at Jay-Z, talking about all he hear is platinum that and platinum this. Nobody got no platinum hits.
Yeah,
Jay-Z didn't have any at that time. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? And for the In My Lifetime album, Jay-Z was trying to get that Bad Boy rub, which didn't work out. That's why some people don't like that album on some of the records. But yeah, there was a lot there brewing. Of course, Jay-Z smoked them. But you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Ride or Die, when he said check your own videos, you always be #2. I was like,
yeah,
it's over. But yeah, man, it's funny because, like you said, some people didn't want to admit it, but Mace was like the top dude. And I said this before. I think I said it on my podcast. I think I said it on Shout Out to Kill Apartment 5B podcast. But there was Eric Sermon, and I was kind of joking a little bit. But then there was Mace when it comes to the original mumble rappers.
Yeah.
A lot of hip hop heads did not like Mace because of his flow. Not Murder Mace, who rhymed Claire, but Mace, M-A$E, because of his flow, because of the real lazy flow, almost slurring your words a little bit. But like Tone said, the dude was number one. So what could you do? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what, too.
What now?
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
No, just real quick, just like you said, I think that, speaking of him being number one, Puff obviously groomed him some. That he changed his name, from Murder Mace to just Mace. He probably told him, hey, let's, like same thing he did with Big when he said, I hear with Machine Gun Funk, but let's do this Juicy. I think with Mace, a lot of people who are not abreast of Mace starting out with Cameron and Bloodshed and Big L and everyone with the Children of the Corn, he rapped different. You go back and listen to their unreleased tracks and their freestyles. When it was Killer Cam, Murder Mace, and McGruff and all those guys, he rapped different. He was more aggressive with his rhymes, and I think that he learned the art of, chicks kind of digging me a little bit. Kind of got a little bit of style and flavor. Puff looked at it like, okay, I can really do something with this dude. You know what I'm saying? That's why, he made him a star. So Mace had to dumb it down a little bit, and he kind of started rapping for the chicks some, but he still would do some joints with Big, and he did the joints with 24 Hours to Live and a couple other joints like that. So he found a good balance to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to leave that out. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't he had kind of mumble rap type of thing, but before that, like I said, if you go back and do the knowledge, man, Mace was spitting at one point. You know what I'm saying? And the dude can really rap. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why also years later, people like Kanye West and Pusha T did a whole song based on Mace's whole flow and cadence and everything on one of his albums, like Dedication to Mace. You know what I'm saying? Kanye always loved Mace. 50 Cent put Mace down and took him from, I think paid money from Puff to get Mace. Some of 50 songs, you hear the flow and the cadence and everything, they're directly influenced from Mace. You know what I'm saying? Drake and a lot of these guys all said that they studied Mace too. You know what I'm saying? So again,
even Fabulous. When Fabulous
absolutely Fab too.
When Fabulous was the Fabulous Sport, I think the first record he did, I think it's on a Clue album. It might not be, but the first record he did on a Clue mixtapes when he was a Fabulous Sport, he was rhyming exactly like Mace.
Absolutely, just like Mace.
Flow, everything. So yeah, Mace was a big deal. And look, I don't want anybody confused. When we say mumble rap, we don't just mean whack. We mean the style in which you choose rhymes. Now the content is totally different, but the flow itself is where you draw the lineage between what he chose to do, what Eric Sermon does, and what some rappers do today.
One quick thing for the listeners, also just more perspective as we're trying to paint this picture of Mace's legacy and impact leading up to him retiring from hip hop. Let me also say this: even on record before on a radio interview, Jim Jones admitted, even though he had problems with Mace, and he used to call him Bethel all the time when he had a problem with him, he even said that Mace taught him how to rap. He actually showed Jim Jones how to put bars together. You do the research, you'll find the interview. You know what I'm saying? Also, through some connections, Mace brought Cameron to Biggie, and Cameron freestyle for Biggie. So what Biggie and was going to do on this and the commission and all that with Charlie Baltimore and Jay-Z, he was going to sign Jadakiss and Cameron to solo deals. You see what I'm saying? So that was because Mace took Cam to rhyme for Biggie. Now, Cam also talked about this on interviews, on Instagram and everything. And Cam has been a lot more forthcoming with a lot of stuff over the last year. So you guys can look that up also. So I'm just trying to show that, this wasn't no fly-by situation. Those 3 short years, Mace did a lot in hip-hop.
Yeah, and look, he also was doing a lot of ghostwriting for
absolutely
Diddy. He even wrote Biggie's verse on a 112 remix, and I know some people just, what? How? Jesus, please, Biggie didn't write that? No. the Biggie told the story well, where the thing was, if Mace wanted to prove himself, he had him write Biggie had him write a verse for him for this 112 joint. He thought if it was hot, he would like prove himself. Now I know that's taboo in hip hop. Let's not be silly. That 112 verse is not like it's Biggie's greatest verse ever, so you don't have to be afraid of taking him out of your top 5.
It's not niggas bleed, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's not get carried away. But nevertheless, Mace, and we could talk about money too. Mace still getting checks for them, you know, them Puff verses and them other verses that he wrote and features. And like you said, man, you're on all these big records and you're ghostwriting, you're up front, you're behind the scenes, you're doing all of this and you give it up. Now, Tone, then the dude came back to hip hop with an album, but I guess more like a Christian rapper with the Welcome Back album that came out. When Mace came back, what was your thoughts then?
Too much time had passed. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, he didn't sound sharp anymore. Because whether you like Mace or not, doing his prime for what he did, dude was sharp. You know what I'm saying? That was his style. He had his own thing going. And I think that his intentions was good on Welcome Back, as far as like, okay, I'm coming back. For whatever the reason why he came back, he came back. But as far as like the music, I think some of the hunger was gone. It was kind of cartoonish. Even when you saw the Welcome Back video, I think a lot of people clowned him because the shit wasn't in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? It was like in some studio in LA. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you can't do a song called Welcome Back and not be on Linux, baby. You know what I'm saying? You lost credibility there, and why not be at home? Which also further more rumors of why you can't come home. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you're in a good space in your life and you have found some peace and you making some clean music, why can't you come home? Well, you know, the rumors is still you got beef at home. You know what I'm saying? And you're not really welcome back to Harlem right now at this moment. Now, is it true? I don't know. Nobody can really confirm that, but the rumors were the rumors, you know. And the music really just wasn't good. I think he had this one joint of video some people liked a little bit, that Breathe, Stress, Shake It Out, some shit. I don't even know. I remember the song. You know what I'm saying? And I think he had that and Welcome Back with 2 singles. I think the album did Go Go. But it left a lot to be desired, man. And I think at that time he was still having some issues with Puff because, you know, he did leave abrupt. I think he did violate some terms and stuff in his contract legally. Yeah. And I think that's at some point when 50 and other people start, you know, want to pull him with them. And I think he tried to negotiate himself out of the contract with Puff, and they had some differences and stuff like that. But as far as D music, it wasn't good to me. I think that he had lost a lot of luster, and people looked at him at that point as like a novelty act. And I think that was at that moment was pretty much the beginning and the end for the legendary type of run that he had from 96 to 99. It was just 2004, man. What was going on in 2004? You know, Jay-Z Black Album was still hot. 50 Cent was on fire. The Dipset was on fire at the time, and you know, of course, down south, T.I. was emerging and Ludacris and all these. So the game had passed him, man. Even though some people who was influenced by him respected him, the overall game had passed Mace by 2004.
I felt like Mace missed a huge opportunity to legitimize, and I'm not throwing no shade, but I'm just keeping it 100, to legitimize Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He had an opportunity as a big name to really make some hot records. You know what I'm saying? Because we know there are gospel singers and people like that who are huge commercially for the music they make, because most of it tends to sound like R&B, but it's just, you know, the lyrics are about Christianity. And I think Mace kind of missed the opportunity there performance. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like he wasn't as invested as he was when he was talking about other stuff, which made me question how invested he was. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, well, why you don't have that same energy? You know, I was not that I'm a big, you know, like I'm BBJ in the top 10. Y'all remember BBJ? Whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you brought a whole new thought to me just now, because now you made me think about when you're all in, man, or you tinkering with it. Because like you said, if he was really all in, he could have really put Christian hip hop on a whole different. I mean, I know Lecrae now and some other guys who got popular, but Mace was a celebrity. You know what I mean? And he could have done songs with Yolanda Adams and Kirk Franklin and whoever the case may be. You know, whoever the large gospel people were at the time. You know, if you fully invested, because he was coming off his book, the book Revelations was very telling, like a memoir, and he really showed our spirituality within that book. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, he really missed a huge opportunity to really legitimize where he's supposed to be in his life at that time.
Yeah, man. Now, I think I want to do this just to kind of get people to the point of him leaving the first time, right? So Mace leaves the first time, then he comes back. You know, we don't really know why he left. Like Tone said, he comes back, but he ain't really back because he ain't really in Harlem. So we kind of question that. Then he kind of goes away for a second. Then he reemerges with 50, like heavy, and he's Murder Mace on a lot of the things he appears on. He's not even Bad Boy Mace anymore. Now he's straight threatening you on records, and most people are like, "Wait a minute, what? This you still a pastor?" And it's this contradiction. Then years pass, and then obviously he's emerging here and there again. He's also like appearing with Puff, even to this day, like doing shows with Puff. He had the little battle with Cameron not too long ago. It was on Hot 97 and or Power 105 with Angie with the fur on with this.
Yeah, it was Murder Mace again.
Yeah. Now he done flip flop so much in the hip hop game with going away and coming back and showing how God fearing he is, to kind of contradicting that in the same vein and giving mixed messages. What is the street rumor about Mace and why he never really fully came back and why he left in the first place? Or at least most people think.
I heard a few rumors. You know, like I said earlier, one rumor I heard, it was a situation with a female, and I think Mace was already with his wife, or who ended up being his wife, and I think he was still dealing with a bunch of chicks. Mace was known to deal with some chicks, and I think he dealt with the wrong dude chick, you know what I'm saying, in Harlem. And rumor was some dudes in Harlem who knew him was after him. You know what I'm saying? Or told him he wasn't welcome back in Harlem. No, just real talk. I heard that he wasn't welcome to come back to the crib, or, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say a hit was put on him, you know, nothing like that, but I do believe that his safety, you know, if nothing else, was at stake. And I think he had to wait it out for a couple of years before he could even come home. And again, people still don't see him in Harlem like that. At times I was in New York several times over the 2000s. I ran into Jim Jones, people like that in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Some of them dudes was still come to the bodega and shit like that, and they hang out sometimes. You never ran into Mace like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe legitimately, I think he had an issue in Harlem that some people, that's why when Jim Jones and them called the radio station back in like 2009 or 10, and he had this confrontation with Cameron and Jimmy called and stuff like that, it was kind of like, yeah, you know why you ain't coming back home, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was saying that to him on the radio, but they didn't go into detail because there's codes in the street. So they didn't say what was, but they was like, Bethel, you know, you can't come home right now.
Yeah, and in recent years,
and I believe that's legit.
In recent years, has actually been revealed that, and it's two things. You know, there's the one thing that says Mace is the reason Huddy Combs was murdered.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the details, but it was more of a thing. I believe him basically trying to, you know, either being with Mace or protecting Mace that got him killed. And then Mace's beef with Baby Maine, a notorious street dude from Harlem, and that's the dude who Cameron and Jim Jones have no problem now, probably because he gone. He passed away. He was murdered, by the way. But saying that was the dude that chased Mace out of Harlem,
right?
And basically, you know, everything. It's so strange, and it's such a unique story. I think it'd be different if Mace just left and he was a pastor. Maybe he came back and did music, but it was just Christian music, and he was just on that line the entire time. But because this dude came back as Pastor Mace, left, came back as Murder Mace, and tried to be Mace again, and tried to be Murder Mace, and try to be both, and then all this other street stuff, and with the internet and YouTube and the fact that years have passed and Cameron openly speaks about a lot of it, it just makes his story just like unbelievable.
You know what too? And like you said, this last time around when him and Cameron was going at it, it was crazy because he kind of went back in time when he did that diss track to Oracle. Now, real talk, Mace was spitting on that track.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Let's not, that damn Oracle was a legit. I mean, he was murking Cam on there. You know what I'm saying? He was, and the stuff he was saying, he was sunning Cam. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, if you listen to the lyrics to it, he was sunning them. You know what I'm saying? And he actually threw shots at the Dipset too. And then he went to Philly, and on that Philly radio station, they played like 3 different beats. He had the fur coat on. He was like, yeah, murder in the building. You know what I'm saying? And he rhymed for like 10 minutes. He was, you know, at first he was like shouting out like Seager, what up, Gilly the Kid? What up, so-and-so? What? And then he went into his rhyme. And it sounded like 1997 24 Hours to Live Mace. And I was like, damn, Mace sound good. You know what I'm saying? He had the swag back, man. He looked good. He looked healthy. You know what I mean? Like, he looked like he was in a good space. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know what? I know he ain't Pastor Mace no more, but I wouldn't mind hearing Murder Mace album right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I was like, dude sound good right now. And then, you know, crazy enough again, maybe his turmoil and internal conflict, he disappeared again.
Yeah.
And we don't know where he is again.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? With you saying all of that, he also missed another opportunity.
Another one.
Like you said, when people heard that this record, everybody was like, this is kind of fire. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what Cam gonna do. Nobody expected it, and look, this is the missed opportunity in his most recent return. This is a different age where people will they don't even care why you were chased out of Harlem. If you wear your opinions on your sleeve and you're nice and you can make dope music, people don't care, man. Like, people were watching everything. People were following what he was doing. He had hip hop's attention, and he just didn't capitalize. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Because I just listened to the Oracle the other day, and I went to the comment section of the Oracle on YouTube, and a lot of people was like, Cam woke a giant back up, woke the sleeping giant back up, and yada yada yada. Even the young fans like, man, I ain't know about this dude Mace. I thought y'all said he was whack. Dude can rap. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of different comments. It was like, and you know, some young kids was commenting like, man, I ain't know that dude Mace can rap. Like, who is this dude? Who is Mace? This dude nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so once again, Veg, you're 100% correct. I agree. Several times throughout the 2000s, for whatever reason, he missed the opportunity. Is it turmoil? Was he scared of it again? Is he scared of the success again? Because you get back to a certain level, you're gonna be judged again because these decisions you made in your life with your religion and with the business of hip hop. And I don't know, man. But whatever happened, it's like it scared him again, and he disappeared again, man. And I think this might have been the last time he could come out and do this.
Yeah, it definitely is, because I mean, I kind of could see why, like, granted, maybe there's some contractual things and he couldn't. Maybe tried, and maybe something was shelved or held back. Who knows? But I also look at it that way too. Like, okay, well, yeah, this is the perfect opportunity for him to just shed his past and just come out and let his body of work speak. But this is also the new age where people got the microscope on you. You know what I'm saying? They got the magnifying glass on you, and every little slip up, everything you do is going to be magnified and put everywhere. And, you know, that's probably more scary than 1997 or 1999 when he bounced. You know what I'm saying? So who knows, man? But for those who are watching or listening, what did you think about when Mase just left the rap game while on top of the rap game? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you know something that we didn't mention about why he really left, leave that in the comments section. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Now we get to the point in the show where we recommend to you something you should go back and listen to. My recommendation is fairly recent. It's out of the year 2011. It's called The Dreamer and the Believer by Common. This album came out 2011. I mean, people were instantly, you know, calling it a classic. I didn't do that, but I have to say that I was just as excited about this album also. Now, granted, it was coming off a really whack album, not Electric Circus. The other one, I can't remember what it's called. The one that everybody forgets even exists.
Oh, the one that Pharrell did.
Party records on it. Yeah, like people just erased that from the catalog. And I think that gave it some of the energy, but nevertheless, yeah, Universal Mind Control. This is the album that followed it, though. It's called The Dreamer, The Believer. Features Maya Angelou on the intro, features Nas on here, and also John Legend. The tracks are down to a minimum. I believe the tracks are only like 12 tracks on here. He got his pops on here at the end. This is a very, very good album that unfortunately in the 2000s, especially 2010s and up, we just forget about albums that were great. Some of the standout tracks, Ghetto Dreams featuring Nas, obviously. Blue Sky, that track is ridiculous.
It is.
Sweet, which is basically a hits record to Drake.
Yep.
And, you know, the whole, if you don't know, whole beef between those two had a lot to do with Serena Williams. I think I like the most about this album enough to recommend it to people to go back to or listen to it for the first time if you never heard it, is the fact that when Common gets with No ID, his original producer, different kind of magic they have together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's No ID knowing what fits Common best, or Common just performing, or maybe it's just them together. Maybe they come together and they just make great music, you know what I'm saying? But lyrics are there, and the album feels big. It's something about an album that from beginning to end feels like, you know, I don't know if this is the truth for every situation, but just feels like a lot of money was put into it. A lot of time was put in every piece of it, from the intro, a lot of thought on who should be guest appearances. And I think the guest appearances even show up like they got to do their best, which John Legend, Nas, and obviously Maya Angelou did. So that's my recommendation, The Dreamer, The Believer by Common. Tone, your thoughts on that album, and what's your recommendation for this week?
Man, I was happy about the album, man. I'm a big Common fan. I've been a fan of Common since Can I Borrow a Dollar? You know what I'm saying? For any of you guys my age, you remember that debut album. It was Common Sense. You know what I'm saying? And I love Common Sense even back then. He was more funny and playful, but he went right into Resurrection. And I used to love him. And then after that, The Legend is Born. You know, and, you know, he's had his times when he had classic albums, and then he would miss the mark and try to be creative. And an album like Electric Circus or Universal Mind Control didn't really hit the way it should. And then coming back with this joint was like coming back doing B and Finding Forever. You know what I mean? I was just this solid work. Ghetto Dreams with Nas was a long time coming. Sounds great. The video dope. The making of the video when they got together in the studio with No ID was real dope with them talking and linking again, and it showed them pictures on Fat Joe's video shoot, man, and stuff like that. It was just kind of dope with them reminiscing, and that song Blue Skies is an amazing song, amazing video. It feels good. It feels right. The intro, outro is dope, man. Shout out to Lonnie Lynn. He passed away. Common Dad passed away the other year. That was one of his last times on Common's work. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out. Dope album, man, from one of my favorite MCs, man. What can I say? My recommendation is Little Brother Get Back. It's funny because recently Phonte put on Instagram and everything that, yes, Little Brother getting back together. They work on their album right now. They're going to be on tour this fall. Obviously, for us in North Carolina, it's dope for us because the album's going to be dope. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? They'll have dope production. As of right now, Ninth is not a part of Little Brother. He's not going on tour with them. He's not the primary producer on the album. As of right now, he doesn't have a song without. Will that change before the final whatever? I don't know. We'll find out when that happens. But they have dope producers. They're going to drop something real nice. It's always good to hear Phonte back in his groove again, rhyming, because he's a dope-ass MC. Pooh has been putting in work over the years. He did a dope album a couple years ago with Knots, you know what I'm saying, who is on Ninth's Soul Council. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited about that, man. And, this album, sorry I deviated away from it, but this album is a dope album to get back, and just some dope songs, man. That Ain't Love. The first track called Sirens, man, produced by a dude named Ill Mind. Ill Mind is dope. For you underground heads, man, check out Ill Mind. Got some crazy beats on there. He got that track, Can't Win for Losing, Good Clothes. Yeah, man. Then there's a song called Two Steps on there, produced by Knots. Step It Up, produced by High Tech. Extra Hard, produced by Mr. Porter. You already know he got heat, you know what I'm saying? After the Party, produced by one of my favorite cats named Crisis. Just so many, another song, The Getaway, produced by Crisis. So yeah, man, dope beats, dope rhymes. Got like 4 stars on All Music. They didn't miss a beat to me, even though, of course, following The Listening, produced by Ninth Wonder, The Minstrel Show, produced by Ninth Wonder. When Ninth stopped touring with them and they ended up dissolving as far as a 3-man unit, people were kind of nervous about the Get Back. They were like, Ninth ain't producing on it. No, Ninth did the one track on that with Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? What's the name of that track? Breaking My Heart. Pretty dope beat by Ninth. Terrible verse by Lil Wayne. But, I will give props to Lil Wayne because they ran into Lil Wayne at Houston All-Star Week. And Lil Wayne was doing an interview and Lil Bro was outside the radio booth or whatever, listening to Lil Wayne interview, and Lil Wayne gave Lil Brother props. So when he walked out, they spoke, and Phonte was like, dude was real cool. I'm like, yo, I'll do something with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they said like less than a week, man. Wayne to send this verse, and this is Wayne during the time of mixtape Wayne, and Wayne was hot. And just to know that he was a cool dude like that and had love for North Carolina hip hop, I appreciate him being on Get Back, man. So very dope album. If you haven't heard it, man, go to YouTube, Amazon, or whatever, check it out, man. But I'm excited about a new joint. I was excited about the Get Back, and they'll be just fine without Ninth. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
Yeah, I was one of those people initially when I heard they were breaking up. That was kind of like, come on, man! Like just when I jumped aboard, right? You know what I'm saying, with the Minstrel Show, this is my favorite album. They do this, but man, it's separate but equal mixed. Get Back. I think they even had like a follow up to the Get Back, like that was like the Get Back Plus or something like that, or whatever it was called. But listen to the producers that Tone just went through on that album, and trust me, you hear those names, you start thinking about all the dope beats you've heard. They got heat, and Phonte and Rapper Big Pooh do their job on all those records, man. That's a dope album, man. There was a minute where I was losing, like I was on my way to losing 50 pounds. I was in the gym every day. That was in heavy rotation back then, man. So that's a dope album. Y'all should definitely check out. But that's going to do it for us for this week. We hope you enjoyed this show. Any comments on anything, leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like the show, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching the video and you're like, I can't catch up with the videos all the time, you can also subscribe to the podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search for Hip Hop Now Podcast. And within that same stream, you'll also find these episodes of That Time in Hip Hop. On behalf of myself, Vegas of Hip Hop Now Podcast, and Tony of IntoTheDome.com, go out and support real hip hop. Peace.
Peace.
Drop it on the random.